I'm laughing at any analyst who thinks that Trae Young is remotely comparable to Steph Curry because he shouldn't be uttered in the same breath.
Maybe Steph 5-6 years in, Skip.
He will not. He will not. Steph Curry is an athlete. Steph Curry has explosiveness.
There haven't been many players throughout history that have been able to impact the league in such a short amount of time as Trae Young. Young has become one of the NBA's most hated players in only 3 seasons, and only a select few players have been able to do that. In fact, there's only been a few players throughout NBA history that have gotten booed in almost every stadium, and whether he deserves it is up to us to decide. What's going on, everyone? Thank you all for clicking on this video. If you enjoy it, I would appreciate it if you dropped a like and left a comment. Also, please subscribe because you don't even realize how much it helps my channel. It only takes 1 click and you can always change your mind. I'm spending all my time focusing on the quality of my videos now, so all your support really means the world. So, rewinding all the way back to the very start, on September 19th in 1998, Trae Young was born in Lubbock, Texas. Young had a younger brother and 2 sisters. His father, Rayford, played college for the Texas Tech Raiders and tried to go undrafted into the NBA. He was only 5'11", so his size made it really difficult. Although he didn't make it, he was able to pass the torch onto his son. Growing up, Trae Young was a huge fan of Steve Nash, and you can see a little bit of it in his game. Trae Young attended Norman North High School in Oklahoma. During his high school career, he was small like his father, but he displayed an incredible range from the three-point line. According to some fans, Young was not joking about his range in high school. The sad part is, it's impossible to guard that. Young possesses an explosive first step and a nasty handle which often leaves defenders either embarrassed or laying on the ground, and sometimes both. It was no secret that Trae Young loved being under the spotlight from a very early age. In 2017, he was the number 17 ranked player in the nation. In just his sophomore year, he averaged 25 points and 5 assists. He helped Norman North win their area championship and was named Sophomore of the Year. Trae then, of course, ended up signing to Oklahoma to play college basketball for the Sooners. Young balled out from the very start. Early on in November, he dropped a career-high 43 points and 7 assists in a 90-80 win against the Oregon Ducks. This game already had people comparing his play style to Steph Curry and other big-time shooters around the league. Not everything went smoothly during his college career. He was called out by many analysts for not having good enough defense for the next level. He also turned the ball over a lot and had a game against Kansas State with 12 turnovers. His shooting potential definitely made up for his defensive liabilities because the season he had at Oklahoma took him from a projected late first round to second round pick all the way into the early lottery. He even got praise for his season at Oklahoma from guys like LeBron James and Steph Curry. On June 21st, 2018, Trae Young was selected with the 5th overall pick by the Dallas Mavericks, but was traded to the Atlanta Hawks along with a future first-round pick for Luka Doncic. Right away, he showed everyone in the NBA what he was capable of. He scored a season-high 35 points in just his 3rd game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was able to do special things his rookie season, like hitting game winners, and he ended up being a unanimous all-rookie first-team selection. Although some people may not have seen it at the time, the way Trae Young plays the game would completely change basketball forever. Some think it's been for the good, many others think he has completely ruined some parts of the game. The way that he plays has made many fans and teams across the league furious, although it wasn't always this way. Coming into his first season in the league, people were intrigued by his play style because many had never seen anything like it before. Trae Young easily was able to make an all-star game in just his 2nd year in the league. It didn't take long for many people to see how annoying and repetitive his play style was on a nightly basis. I personally like some of the things Trae Young is able to do and how he's able to evolve the game, but there's plenty of things that make him unlikable, and there's plenty of rules that need to change. First of all, to get the obvious out of the way, Trae Young's game is based off shooting deep threes and baiting defenders into cheap fouls. He likes to lean into defenders and take awkward angled shots to try to draw fouls, and to be fair, it works, so it's really not his fault. The NBA is who we should be blaming. NBA fans also tend to hate the great all-time players, just like how about every stadium you can possibly go to will boo guys like LeBron and Curry. So that, combined with his play style, has really turned Trae into one of the biggest villains in the entire league. The problem with all the hate that fans give him is that it only motivates him more. Whenever a crowd, especially in New York, starts booing or chanting bad things about him, he will instantly go off for 40 and send everyone home even angrier. Like it or not, Trae Young is definitely changing the game of basketball as a whole, and only special players are able to do this. Steph Curry is definitely the standout player that has changed basketball the most, but Trae Young is definitely following those footsteps. Even if it's not as big of a scale, Young is definitely making an impact as to how other teams make their game plan on a regular basis. There is definitely a big misunderstanding between Trae Young and NBA fans. Trae is known for his shifty, newly created moves to get around defenders and his very deep threes that he consistently makes. He does things like nutmegs and always tries to initiate contact by jumping into defenders to try to get foul calls. It's been a little better this past season, but he still definitely does it. Again, who can blame him though? It's working, and he has been putting up unreal numbers doing what he does. Guys like him and Luka do this all the time, and they consistently lead the league in trips to the free throw line, which ultimately leads to free points. Don't get me wrong, this is definitely a bad change to the game, and it's not something I agree with at all. The way offense has recently evolved throughout the NBA has made it nearly impossible for defenders to play defense, and it's not a good situation for the league. The real question is, will the NBA actually step in and do something about this? They did make some adjustments last year to make the game more physical, but there definitely still are many weak contact fouls that consistently get called, especially for superstars. It makes me wonder if Trae Young will continue to do this stuff, because even though it's been working, it will be tough to make the adjustment if the NBA makes a change, and it also has been hurting his reputation in the league, and of course with many fans. I still think he could be an all-star just from his three-point capabilities, so I really don't see that much of a need for him to lean into defenders just to average a few more points. The thing that makes him even more hated is that he is always whining and complaining to refs when things don't go his way. Again, he's gotten a little bit better this year, but he definitely still does it, and it's a reason why nobody likes him outside of Atlanta. But just maybe, we're all wrong. Maybe drawing fouls is just an art of the game that he has perfected. The best players in today's league are the ones that can get to the line the most and make the most free throws. There is truly no easier way to get your team points than by getting to the free throw line, and that's pretty much what you get paid to do, is score points for your team. Again, for like the third time, I do not agree with what he does, but he's just doing what gives his team the best chance to win games in their circumstance. The only player in the league that got to the free throw line more than Young last season was Joel Embiid, and he ended up in MVP talks. I'm not even going to get started on Joel Embiid because the things he and the 76ers did last year was so ridiculous that it was almost unguardable. It was way worse than Trae, but it just kind of shows where the league is trending, and they need to step in so it doesn't keep going in this direction. I'm all for how the NBA has evolved and how everyone shoots as many threes as possible, but there needs to be a balance in the softness of the league. It's very hard for true centers to even play defense, because if your finger grazes an arm, then it's automatically 2 free throws, and it's even harder when the player jumps into you. As much as I hate to say it, I think the real reason Trae Young gets so much hate is because people are bitter that his playstyle and game ended up turning out and that he wasn't a bust. It's very frustrating watching a small guard pick apart your franchise, so that's why you see so much booing on a night-to-night basis. Even as a Cleveland fan, when I went to the play-in game, as soon as Cavs fans started chanting about Young, I knew the game was over and that we had lost. Another reason why Trae Young has become the #1 villain in the NBA is because most old-timers hate to see the game evolving. Back in 2018, many said that Trae Young's crazy play style wouldn't work, and that the Hawks made a huge mistake trading Luka for him, and that he would be a bust. Although it's pretty clear now that the Mavs won that trade and Luka is a better player, Trae Young has turned himself into one of the best players in the league, and he turned out way better than expected for Atlanta. To me, it's really hard to say the Hawks messed up by making this trade, because in any draft, getting an all-star is hard to come by. In any draft, any team could say, oh, I wish we would have done this, so getting a player of Trae Young's caliber definitely made it a successful trade. I remember back when Trae was drafted, he got so much slander from the media and players across the league about how his lack of size and horrible defense would limit him from becoming anything in this league. And it's safe to say, they were all wrong. Although Trae Young's defense still is pretty bad, he and his team have found ways to adjust around it. People also thought that his shot selection was horrible, but it's clear that it hasn't been an issue for him at all throughout his early career, and in fact, it's opened up the floor for the rest of his team. The Hawks are still a super young team, so love it or hate it, their roster and play style is going to be around for a long time. Because Trae Young has proven the whole league wrong with his play style, it has left whole fan bases angry at him to the point where there are explicit chants. There's even players around the league that don't like him, and his own teammate John Collins even criticized him. Brooklyn Nets head coach Steve Nash said, "That's not basketball," in a response to Trae Young's game, and it went viral everywhere. Trae Young had a perfect response saying, "I saw that it blew up and everyone was talking about it. I bet if I was playing for Steve, he'd be happy. It's something in the midst of the competition that he was wanting to win and I was wanting to win, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes." I think him wanting to get in the ref's ears a little bit was just trying to help him. I learned a lot about drawing fouls from him. If he says it's not basketball, he must have been saying it about himself because he's done it a couple of times throughout his career and was so successful. This isn't the only time a former NBA player has said something about a current NBA player in this way, and sometimes it's even for the good.
Part of this is Shaq. I said tonight that you are one of my favorite players, but you don't have what it takes to get to the next level. I said it on purpose. I wanted you to hear it. What do you have to say about that?
All right. That's it.
That's it?
All right. That's it.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
I wanted you to hear it.
I've been hearing, Shaq, I've been hearing that since my rookie year. You know, I'm just going to get better and do what I do.
Good.
At the end of the
thank
day.
you. Well, that's what I wanted you to hear you say.
Yes,
Love
sir.
your game, brother. Keep it up.
Appreciate it.
I think it's fair to say that the NBA is rapidly changing, and as fans, we have to accept and adapt. Some things do need change, but to put all the hate on a select few players is unfair. People will always hate on something new that's working against them. For better or for worse, Trae Young has and will continue to evolve the game in many ways, and for the better or worse is for you to decide. That's going to be the end of this video. This took a long time to plan out and make, so I would really appreciate all your support. Also comment below what player you want me to make a video on next. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I'll see you all next time.